Oh, woo friends and enemies. We are back. So, all right. First,
Maybe it'll bring us closer.
we're gonna remove Lae'zel from the party.
Greetings. Chuck, you believe you can survive without me? As you say, do not keep me waiting.
Let's keep going.
In my years as the Blade, I've witnessed countless cruelties, faced unimaginable evil. But Thorn, he is made of pure hate. The Sword Coast will rejoice when the bastard's fallen. And lest we forget, we've a devil to rescue. 2 missions, 1 destination.
Any idea where we'll find Duke Ravengard now that we've reached MoonRise?
Not in a mere prison cell, certainly. My guess, Thorn will have confined him in the bowels of the tower. The deeper we dig, the closer we get.
I'd like you to join me.
That's the spirit.
Ask Karlach to leave.
What's on your mind?
I need to stay behind in camp for now.
Oh, come on. You don't mean that.
You heard me.
Oh, fine. I'll be here eating dirt or whatever.
Right. Talk to Gale.
Tell me, what can I do for you?
Join me, why don't you? There's plenty of adventure to be had.
With pleasure. Lead on.
Where am I needed? Ready and willing. What to do?
Save here so I don't have to go through the process of party shuffle and battle prep again.
MoonRise Towers lies ahead. We're nearing the heart of the Absolute. I'm certain of it.
Then let us push forward, heads high, weapons in hand, and turn this tower to rubble.
Your confidence is encouraging, but a little premature. Let's keep our eyes on the task ahead. Or I, as the case may be.
No traps, please. have seen everything.
I admire your courage, Gale.
Thank you. Any particular reason?
Between the orb and the bug, you've got more than your fair share of unwelcome passengers.
No choice but to keep going.
Talk to me.
The witching hour. Step by step. Forever dauntless. 2 steps at a time. A tale for the ages. Another fight. Let's go.
Can't give up.
favors the fearless. Making my move.
Quite thrilling to fight off such grim creatures as this region throws at us, especially being at your side. I once read a book that explained in some detail the effect a brush with danger has on one's desire for other forms of stimulation. Have you ever read anything on that subject?
I could have written the thing.
I believe you. You never looked so beautiful as at the end of a stirring battle. Your cheeks flushed, gaze bright, muscles glistening. Perhaps it's just the thrill of our near-undead experience talking. Standing at your side through such darkness and disrepair, it only makes me want you more. Unfortunately, this is neither the time nor the place to indulge such feelings, so you must be patient and push all such thoughts aside. For now. Was there anything else you wish to discuss?
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Awake and alert.
A great hunter to be feared.
Time to meet your maker.
feet of foot. Best be on my way. Pawn to cleric 4. Blood comes easy these days.
No holding back. 2 steps at a time. Where is she?
Got to focus. Can't afford to let up. On I go.
Come on, can't stay idle. What path lies before me?
Outflank, outsmart.
take you.
On the victor's path. No time to waste. Nothing will stand in my way. On my way.
Cannot die. We must find what gives him his invulnerability before we strike.
Certainly.
Moving.
The blade will not bend.
Take your penance in her name.
Sometimes the only way out is through. Very well.
Shall be done.
Heading there.
On the victor's path. No time to waste.
Never a dull moment.
The lance board is set.
Need to stay hidden.
On the victor's path.
Well, so much for peace.
I don't fancy their chances.
itself. Do not go upstairs. Okay. News.
Speaking on the condition of anonymity to CNN, have admitted that the former president is...
Oh, hello. Thank you, Tristan. But yeah, don't call me baby. That's reserved for my boyfriend. And he's, he's currently not here. Gonna turn the news back on.
going to just continue to piss off Judge Tanya Chutkin, as well as all of the other judges and prosecutors going after him. And they don't care. He doesn't care about the consequences. One of Trump's advisors confirmed to CNN that he is...
Just meant as a term of endearment. You're perfectly fine. We understand. We just realized we did some stuff out of order. So that's not the information I was needing. Okay. Do not go upstairs.
MoonRise Towers lies ahead. We're nearing the heart of the Absolute. I'm certain of it.
Then let us push forward, heads high, weapons in hand, and turn this tower to rubble.
Your confidence is encouraging, but a little premature. Let's keep our eyes on the task ahead. Or I, as the case may be.
haste.
I admire your courage, Gale.
Thank you. Any particular reason?
Between the orb and the bug, you've got more than your fair share of unwelcome passengers.
What can I say? Mother always taught me to be a gracious host.
I'm ready. Let me strike true.
Mistra Rill. Their worst nightmare. I won't give in. This is my time.
What should I do?
Lance board is set. Into the fray. Survival is all that matters. breathing, despite everything. Another step forward.
My faith will protect me.
Battle favors the fearless.
I speak, they burn.
Not good.
With haste.
Battle favors the fearless. No holding back.
Shut up. Even though the judge basically told him last week, you better shut the hell up, or else I'm gonna have no choice but to move the trial earlier, or perhaps even revoke your pre-release situation here. And Trump's own advisors say, yeah, he's not going to listen to any of that, and he's going to say what he wants to say. Here's what the advisor told CNN. He'll share what he feels is necessary, and if she has a problem with it, she'll address it. I mean, that's basically Donald Trump via his advisors going up to the judge, giving her a giant middle finger and saying, like, yeah, I'm going to keep saying this stuff. What are you going to do? You had your chance this past Friday to do something about it. Instead, you sided mostly with my team here, so I get to keep running my mouth, and there's nothing you can do. Except, as I mentioned, there is something. Because the judge explicitly said if these kinds of statements continue, if he's out there intimidating witnesses or possibly tainting the potential jury pool, then I'm going to have to move the jury trial up in the calendar. We're going to have to get it over with pretty quickly so that he doesn't have time to intimidate and taint everything out there. Basically, the judge told him, here, I'm putting a trap for you right here. So you would probably be best served by not stepping into this trap right here. And Trump's advisors are out there telling CNN, oh yeah, he's just going to walk headfirst in the trap. He sees it, and he's going to jump on it, stomp on it, and say, I'm in the trap, what are you going to do? So that's the situation we're at right now. It's funny, because his lawyers also talking about the trap issue. They said that he is not going to go into a contempt trap. That's what they said. So they know, the lawyers know, that there's a trap.
Of the absolute.
And I shouldn't call it a trap in a bad way. It's basically the judge saying, like, look, don't fall into the hole.
Then let us push
Okay,
forward.
there's a
Heads
hole right
high,
there.
weapons in hand,
Warning you about
and
the
turn
hole.
this
I don't
tower
want
to
you in
rubble.
the hole. Don't fall in the hole. I think that's a better analogy. And Trump's like, I'm going in the hole. I'm doing it, man. Like, I'm going straight, head first, right into it, and you can't stop me. And the judge is like, well, I guess we all know what that means.
Let's keep our eyes on
And
the
it is what it
task
is.
ahead.
Trump cannot be silenced. I mean, a lot of us would like to see that, would love to see this guy just shut the hell up, but he can't do it. I mean, I feel like at this point he's almost physically impossible of shutting his own mouth. And he's going to keep running his mouth, and it's going to come back to bite him at the end. So, my only hope right now is I hope he keeps talking. I hope he keeps pissing off the judge, because there is no universe out there where that works out in his favor. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.
I admire your courage, Gale.
Thank you. Any particular reason?
Between the orb and the bug, you've got more than your fair share of unwelcome passengers.
What can I say? Mother always taught me to be a gracious host.
also a March 25th, 2024 date for the Manhattan DA's criminal case in that whole hush money scheme to go to trial. And then the classified documents case is set to go to trial in May of 2024. And then, of course, you have the whole running for president business.
Right.
Yeah,
January 15th is the Iowa caucus. Yeah, that's a busy dance card. Evan, what do we know about how realistic this March proposal is for fireworks?
It seems a little far-fetched, I mean, to be honest, because, you know, there's going to be, between now and then, there's so much that has to happen. First of all, they have to try to figure out whether they're going to keep all of these people together, these 19 defendants, right? And there's also the question of whether they're going to try to, move some of this out of the state. So there's so much that a judge,
Battle favors the fearless.
referee, all of this, not to mention the fact that, you have those federal trials which, take precedence over the state cases.
And Evan, negotiations going on behind the scenes right now between Trump's team and Fulton County over the sign.
Everyone back and forth, and it appears are telling Train that they are looking at perhaps next week for him to do this. He has until the 25th, and of course, he has a date that's showing up for a Republican debate, which we don't know whether he's going to do or not. So there's something that he needs to do. I mean, of course, they need to negotiate with the security people at the Secret Service because they want to make sure that if the sheriff goes through, presents perhaps some more opportunities for a president to raise some more money.
Yeah. Ellie, another defendant in this case out of Georgia is former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. He's filed to have his case moved to federal court. Why?
Well, Jake, this is more than just procedural wrangling. This could be outcome determinative because if Mark Meadows can show that the charges relate to his performance of his official duties, in this case as White House Chief, first, he gets moved across the street to the federal courthouse. Second of all, he's then on the doorstep of a dismissal because under the law, federal law, if a person can show that they've been criminally charged for something that they did, quote, under color of law, meaning in their capacity as a federal official, then the case gets thrown out altogether. So there's no question Mark Meadows has a reasonable argument to make here, and I look for Donald Trump to make a similar argument. I don't think he has as strong an argument, and I look for Jeffrey Clark, who worked at DOJ, to make a similar argument. All of these are going to be potentially dispositive motions.
That's
Dispositive means they either stay or they go away, whatever they got.
Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump are also expected to make the same request. Do they have a strong case?
Donald Trump does not have as good a case as Mark Meadows because Trump will say, well, these were this is my effort to sort of regulate and make sure the election was clean as president. But I think the prosecutors are going to respond, no, this is you as a private citizen, as a candidate, way overstepping your powers as president. As for Rudy Giuliani, he's got nothing. He was not a federal employee at the time. He's going to have to argue I was somehow hired by Donald Trump. That had nothing to do with official process.
So Sarah, Murray, this arraignment is different than what we've seen play out in Miami, in Washington, D.C., and in New York, right? Because it's not going to happen the same day as we
It's this sort of one and done thing. You go in, you get processed, you make your first appearance in court, you knock the whole thing out in one fell swoop. That's not what's going to happen in this case. Obviously they have until next Friday for these defendants to turn themselves in. And then she's proposing his date. One of the questions that attorneys much in this case have is try to bring all of these 15 defendants together in a room to do this agreement. At the same time, other people have questioned whether Mullins actually even have to be there in person. This court has done a lot of appearances virtually, particularly since elections, and it's possible that the judge could allow for something like that as well. So we kind of need to wait and see for the judge. Well, right. So maybe we could just do it as a
Time to push my luck again.
coordinated with Ben, if possible. Sarah Murray, how could all this be playing out inside Trump world? Well, let's bring in CNN's anchor, the source, Katie Collins, as well as CNN political commentator Alyssa Farah Griffin, the former White House communications director. for the Trump administration. Caitlin, another proposed trial date is now filling up Trump's calendar right in the thick of the GOP primaries in March. In fact, the date Fani Willis has proposed is the date before Super Tuesday. How do you think this is going over?
Not great, but I do think that they feel that they have confidence they are going to fight this. It is almost guaranteed that they will fight to push this date back, Jake, if this is something that a judge would agree to. Of course, that is the question of what that ultimately looks like, but they're already preparing to fight against that date that has been set has been proposed, I should say, by Jack Smith's team in the January 6th case there. And so certainly they are going to also likewise push back against this one. But the reality that they do have is, Trump is going on Truth Social and saying that none of these trials should happen before the 2024 election. I think it's pretty obvious why he thinks that, Jake. But the question and the reality that is facing his legal team is that the judges have so much leeway here. And what I am told is the one that they are most concerned that could happen while this campaign is ongoing.
I wish to live in more interesting times.
For president is the federal indictment from Jack Smith when it comes to the election subversion case. They are actually worried that the judge there, based on what she has been saying in court, her comments made last Friday when they were there talking about the scope of evidence and what Trump can see and what his attorneys can see and who else can see it, that she is pushing really aggressively, and that she is making comments about whether or not he could tank the jury pool, whether that can move up. So with this one, they do have confidence they'll be able to, that this is not going to actually happen in March of 2024. That one, they do have concerns that it could actually potentially happen next year in the election.
Trump's in negotiations with Fulton County authorities over the terms of his surrender. It is possible we'll see a mugshot. No doubt if that happens, it's going to use it for fundraising. But do you think Donald Trump would be ultimately deep down embarrassed by the existence of a mugshot?
I think deep down he would certainly hate to see a mugshot. I think something that he's never expected would exist of himself, but they're absolutely going to capitalize on it if we end up seeing one. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a Trump mugshot NFT and whatever other grips they can come up with. But listen, worried about this series of events that they may have, for instance, from January to March, you get this date moved back, and he's benefited tremendously and remarkably from these indictments. You're going to see that decline in the new year, though. Campaigns are going to be in full swing. You're going to come up on the high. You may not be able to attend events because of trial dates. You're going to come up on the high. You may have to be, down in Georgia or dealing with the Department of Justice. I think he's very very critical election window and actually determining who the nominee is. So he is worried about that.
Social yesterday wrote, quote, "They never went after those that rigged the election. They only went after those that wanted to find the riggers," a word that I'm not particularly familiar with, riggers. Keith Boykin, a Democratic political commentator and former White House aide to Bill Clinton, he took issue with that term. Take a listen.
Did you know that you can actually hire the editor of magazines? On Reads, you can find editors, proofreaders, and designers who worked on major bestsellers and hire them to work on your book. Browse through our hand-picked professionals. Find candidates with expertise in your genre, and reach out to your dream editor or designer. Sign up to Read today and publish a professional, beautiful book.
Looking for new games? Try G2A.com. Need any DLC? Still G2A. Or a gaming subscription? We got you. Want to pay a lot less for any digital product that you can think of? You know what to do. G2A.com. The answer to all your digital needs.
And he wants to buy the riggers. His word, not mine. It's still the election. Rigger, please.
Boykin went on to say Trump's choice of words is not an accident after spending days making racist attacks against Fani Willis, the black woman leading the prosecution against him in Atlanta. What do you make of that?
I mean, It's entirely unsurprising if you've been watching and listening to Donald Trump attack essentially everyone who has criticized him, certainly those who have investigated him. But I think what is different here is that he is pushing the limits of the criminal justice system in the sense of what he is saying online. His attorneys certainly recognize that and make it publicly in court that he has a right that he is running for office, that what he says should not be limited. But they also recognize the reality that these are prosecutors and judges that are either overseeing the case or handling the investigation in and of itself, and that this is not helpful to them. Trump is someone who can't necessarily use his post yesterday about holding the major, or 2 days ago about holding the major conference at Mar-a-Lago, or at Bedminster on Monday, talking about how he's finally going to prove election fraud 3 years later, is something that he did almost entirely on his own. It wasn't something that was this coordinated campaign strategy. And so, I mean, he has access to these Truth Social accounts. He's the one who posts these posts. And so the question is, does the judge weigh in here in any of these cases? And do they get involved? And does it hurt him potentially, as Judge Chuck did in Washington, more than it would? Whether or not that happens remains to be seen.
Alyssa, what do you make of the racial accusation Keith Boykin was making there, that the use of the word rigor is not unintentional? Mr. Trump, President Trump, has certainly been accused of racist language before.
Right, with Trump, you don't need to look for a dog whistle. It's a bullhorn when it comes to race, and I do think that's deliberate. We've seen slanderous attacks that he's put out against Bonnie Willis, alleging things I won't even repeat. So he's not really hiding that he's going to lean into that element, and this is when you saw the courtroom, it was a lot of black men and women who were serving in that courtroom. The fact that he's introducing race into this prosecution surprises me. It's disgusting. It's textbook Donald Trump, but it comes as no surprise.
I can't even catch my breath. Time to press ahead.
Respite does wonders.
Is that a toilet? Yep. You mean to tell me?
I also mentioned Mike Pence being mentioned in the indictment does not mean that he is an indicted or unindicted co-conspirator. No. But we sure do have a lot of them, right? In addition to Donald Trump, we also had the 18 others that were indicted. But what's also interesting is these 30 unindicted and unnamed co-conspirators. So add it all up, we got 48 co-conspirators, only 18 of them face charges. And now all of those 18, well heck, all of the 48 people, because charges could still come against those 30 unindicted individuals, but they all now have a choice to make. Either flip or risk the possibility of spending a minimum of 5 years in prison, which is what the RICO charges in Georgia come with as a mandatory minimum sentence. So if you're convicted, no less than 5 years in jail. So who's gonna flip? Because that's what's so interesting about this. They've got a lot of charges out there. That's gonna be a lot of litigation, a lot of lawyers. Typically, they're not gonna wanna really go through that if they can avoid it. If they can narrow it down, get some people out of this very crowded field, they will take that opportunity, especially if they're able to get information that could secure a conviction against the others. And right now, all of these 48 co-conspirators are on the because there will be plea deals on the table. There's not going to be 48. There's probably going to be a handful. Maybe, considering the number of co-conspirators, maybe it doesn't.
Played at the ready.
But that means that most of you will not have the opportunity. And the clock is ticking. And here's the best thing about it. Each one of those individuals, those co-conspirators, they're sitting there right now wondering the same thing. Is that person going to flip on me? Is this person going to flip on me? There's a list of 18 of us. The person above me, are they flipping? The person below me, are they flipping? Have they been offered a deal? What if this person does? What if this person doesn't? I know what this person did. Maybe I can use that as leverage. They're all having the same thoughts. I have to turn on them before they turn on me.
Lies before me.
And I think at this point, like I said, it's a given. Some people are going to strike a deal. And there's a very limited number of them. Basically, consider it the golden tickets from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You only have a couple of them out there. First come, first serve. So, go ahead, rats. Start looking for those tickets. We gotta take another quick break. I am Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire and Fair and Balance, sitting in for David Packman.
And still, no one does it. I'm burnt more.
This 100% genuine drone has 2 wide-angle cameras that takes crystal clear pictures and video. It's super easy to fly and foldable, so you can take a picture anywhere.
I can't just listen to what's right.
Maybe they're not aware of the promotion. See, it can be direct.
What a video now. There are 2 more ingredients today.
What's next, I wonder?
Welcome to the David Packman Show. I am Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire. I'll be sitting in for David for the next few days while he is taking a much-deserved break.
Never a
Unlike Congress, that of course is also on break, they haven't earned it. David has. And, folks, we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got Donald Trump's reaction
No rest for the
to
wicked,
the
I see.
indictments in Georgia. We've got Mike Pence kind of getting caught in a lie thanks to material revealed in that Georgia indictment. We've got Ron DeSantis' downward spiral getting so much worse, and tons of great content coming up in the bonus show as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up today, obviously, Monday evening, late Monday evening, the indictments in Georgia came down. Everybody's been waiting for them, and they're pretty significant. But what's even more significant, of course, was Donald Trump's immediate reaction that, by the way, spanned not just Monday evening, but bled all the way into Tuesday as well. He basically had a multi-day meltdown over these indictments. And considering the charges against him and the 71 and a half possible years in jail he's looking at, I think he kind of should be as nervous as he appears. But first and foremost, Donald Trump went on Truth Social, and he posted this. So the witch hunt continues. 19 people indicated tonight. Okay? Including the former president of the United States, made by an out-of-control and very corrupt district attorney who campaigned and raised money on my weekend Trump. And what about those indictment documents put out today, long before the grand jury even voted and then quickly withdrawn? Sounds rigged to me. Why didn't they indict 2.5 years ago? Because they wanted to do it right in the middle of my political campaign. Witch hunt. They didn't indict 2.5 years ago, just in case Trump happens to stumble upon this broadcast. The reason they didn't indict you 2.5 years ago is because they didn't have everything they needed. They hadn't conducted an investigation. I don't know if you know this, man, but that's actually kind of what the justice system's supposed to do. You know, yeah, you can have an inkling that crimes may have been committed, but you use that inkling to gather evidence. If the evidence leads you somewhere, you launch a full-blown investigation, and that is, of course, what happened in the state of Georgia. They couldn't indict you 2.5 years ago because they hadn't gone through the actual process. They had to gather the evidence. They had to round up the witnesses. They had to talk to the witnesses. They had to get their hands on documents and emails and text messages, which, thanks to a report from CNN over the weekend, we now know that they do, in fact, have all of those wonderful things tying your legal team directly to the individuals that Sidney Powell sent down to the Coffee County Supervisor of Elections Office, where they then copied material from the voting machines. That was just Donald Trump's first freak out. Then after the freak out on Truth Social,
I'll get us out of here.
he then decided to do what he does best and raise some money off it. So shortly after the tirade on Truth Social, Donald Trump then got on his email, sent out a fundraising blast, telling his supporters, quote, the fourth act of election interference on behalf of the Democrats in an attempt to keep the White House under Crooked Joe's control and jail his single greatest opponent of the 2024 election. Now listen, I don't know how to tell you this, Donald, but you're not the greatest threat to Joe Biden in the 2024 election. The greatest threat that President Biden faces in his re-election attempt at this point is Democrats staying home. That is absolutely the number one issue that President Biden will have to overcome because on the left, according to most recent polls, there's not a ton of enthusiasm for President Biden. He's not exactly out there burning it up with impassioned speeches. You know, he's a little slower in his speaking manners these days. He's not getting as animated. And Democrats, according to the polls, are not energized. If they're not energized, they run the risk of not voting, and that is the biggest threat to Biden's re-election. Not to mention the fact, let's talk about the election interference claim, okay? Trump is obviously the Republican frontrunner. But if this were, like all of these indictments, right, all four of them, assume for a second that Donald Trump is not just making this up out of thin air. Let's assume that each and every one of these was in fact a Democratic effort to prevent Donald Trump from being the Republican nominee.
Let's move.
Do you know what happens if Trump is not the nominee? Somebody else will be. Okay? It doesn't just shut down the entire Republican Party if Donald Trump is not there. There will be another human being to fill that slot. And then that person gets to run against President Biden. And depending on who it is, they probably stand a better shot of beating him than Donald Trump does. Trump claims, and I'll get more to that claim in a moment because he had more meltdown on Fox later on. But he says that he is beating Biden in all the polls. All the polls. When in fact, the polling aggregates still show President Biden since March of this year defeating Donald Trump in the general election. Trump is not the greatest threat to President Biden's re-election. If anything, Trump is arguably one of the easiest Republicans to beat. Now, I don't want to make the same mistake the Democrats made in 2016 and assume, oh yeah, Trump's the nominee, he's totally going to get clobbered. No. Weird things have been happening in politics for the last 7 or 8 years, so nothing is predictable. But we can look at the polls, and we can see that Donald Trump, with his incendiary rhetoric, with all of the indictments, with all of the horrible things that happened on January 6th, he's not attracting new voters. The only thing he has done is turn off moderates and independents. So he's not as big of a general election threat as he likes to think he is. But if you take him off the top of the ticket, put another Republican there, suddenly those moderates and independents turned off by Trump, they give the Republican Party a second look and they say, oh, okay, you don't have that guy up there. Maybe I'll warm up to Vivek Ramaswamy. Maybe I do like Ron DeSantis. Hey, maybe Chris Christie's the guy for me. There's all kinds of things that can and will happen in that Republican primary if Trump is not there. But he seems to be under the impression that if he doesn't exist, neither does the Republican Party, and that, of course, is completely untrue. Not to mention the fact that this guy is sitting here whining in this fundraising email like, this is the fourth act and they're doing... You just said a couple weeks ago that all you needed was one more indictment to secure the Republican nomination and possibly even secure a 2024 victory. You wanted this, you said. You told us, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that you want this. You said you wear these indictments like a badge of honor every time they come in. Yet every time they come in, all you do publicly is whine and cry like a baby. So don't sit there telling us like, oh, I'm a big manly guy, I can take it, I actually like it, it's a badge of honor. And then send out these emails saying, poor little me, I need more money, please. That's not how it works. You can't be talking out of both sides of your mouth. Either you're terrified, which you clearly are, or you're totally taking it in stride, it's all fun and games. And I think to a degree he does think it's fun and games because he does raise a lot of money. But as I said, that's not all that happened. He also, after the fundraising email, after the Truth Social meltdown, which again continued all the way through Tuesday, he then did an interview with Fox News Digital, where he made these outrageous claims. 19 people were indicted, and the whole world is laughing at the United States as they see how corrupt and horrible a place it has turned out to be under the leadership of crooked Joe Biden. The racist and corrupt district attorney of Fulton County, which has turned out to be a murder capital of the world with among the highest violent crime levels anywhere in our country, just opened a fundraising site in order to benefit off the things she most campaigned on. I will get Donald Trump. And he went on to say, I'm leading all Republicans by a lot and beating Joe Biden soundly in almost all things. All right, so here's the thing. None of that's true. We'll go ahead and get that right out in the open. None of that is true. But I do got to pick it apart just a little bit here, because he talks about how the country's falling apart under President Biden. We're falling apart. Now, you would think if this country was in fact falling apart, descending into the kind of chaos that Trump describes, don't you think we would see it? See, that's what always gets me about the MAGA folks and pretty much the entire conservative movement at this point. They love to talk about these cities, of course, that were burned to the ground in the summer of 2020. We all remember that talking point because they still use it. There were no cities burned to the ground. They talk about the way they call it an invasion. Trump used that word last week to describe people coming across the border. There is no invasion. In fact, border apprehensions are actually higher than they were during the Trump administration. All of these things that they talk about, the crumbling of American society, it's all nonsense. It's all made up. Because that's what conservatives love to do. They love to create these fake scenarios in their heads, and then get mad at the fake scenarios they created. Like you worked yourself into a tizzy over something you imagined that's definitely. But they package it, they sell it to their base, they sell it to their audience, they sell it to the voters. And unfortunately, billions of people every day buy into that garbage. They believe it. They can say no. If Trump says it, it's true. If these other conservative talkers say it, well, it's true. If Ted Cruz says it, it's true. If a Democrat says the other thing, well, obviously they're lying because that's all they do is lie. Folks, look around with your own eyes. Trump says the country's falling apart. Where do you see that? Well, sure, we've got infrastructure issues. We've got economic problems. We've got problems that have existed throughout many of the most recent presidential administrations. I'm not saying the country is perfect by any stretch. But if it were really descending into the 7th level of hell, don't you think it's some warning signs? Let's go ahead and refute his statement that Atlanta would murder capital of the world. Like, not murder capital of the U.S., not even murder capital of Georgia. Murder capital of the world in Fulton County where Atlanta sits. That is also news to me. I'm sure the people in Fulton County would also be very interested to hear that. And, by the way, it probably not a smart idea to be trashing the county, talking about it being a lawless hellhole, because you do realize the eventual jury in that trial is going to come from Fulton County. So, probably in your best interest to not constantly talk about how horrible those people are, because they're the ones that are going to be deciding your fate. You know, just something to keep an eye out on the horizon. Don't trash the people that will eventually make up the jury that's going to determine whether or not you spend the rest of your life in jail. Because the charges in Fulton County alone, by the way, carry a possible maximum prison sentence of 71 and a half
Another
years.
step forward.
Now, he's not going to get popped on all of it. He's not going to be sentenced to 71 and a half years. But even if he's sentenced to a fraction of that, a third of that, you're pretty much in there for the rest of your time. But I think it's safe to say, based on his statements, based on what he said to Fox News, what he said in the email, what he said on True Social, and continues to say on True Social, he is terrified. And rightfully so. But I promise you, the next time he goes out there and does a rally, he's going to act cool as a cucumber. Hey, look what they did to me. Isn't it funny? Oh, my numbers are going through the roof. Oh, I've raised millions of dollars off of that. And Republicans don't care. The MAGA folks out there do not care. I mean, heck, a recent report came out where MAGA people that give Trump money were interviewed. They're like, hey, does it bother you that he's using this money for his legal fees? And they're like, no, he can use it for whatever. I'll give him more now that I know him. So they don't think that it's all a big grift. And Donald Trump is going to keep on grifting till the bitter end. And that bitter end's probably going to come when that jury returns with their verdict. We got to take a quick break. Again, I am Farron Cousins, sitting in for David Packman. We'll be right back.
You know, where you do your banking really matters. At a big Wall Street bank, your savings are used to invest in the fossil fuel industry, oil pipeline development, expanding fracking, drilling in the Arctic. When you deposit your money at a big Wall Street bank, you are contributing to climate change in a very real way. Our sponsor, Atmos, is very different. When you bank with Atmos, they exclusively invest your money in solar energy and projects that fight climate change rather than perpetuate it. And just like your current bank, fully FDIC insured, something I've talked about, they have all of the convenient features. I have an Atmos account myself, and I love it. No account fees, no minimums. You get 5%
Unless this evil can get us out of here, I don't want to hear about it. Hey! Hey! You're the one who has MoonRise up in arms, aren't you?
How did you know?
I can smell the blood from here. We need to get out of here or we're stone dead. Get us tools, anything that could crack the wall behind us. Or find a way to get this damn door open. Hurry!
I have something that can break stone.
Gerdo, help me. Just bring them. Or we're all very...
Finding my way.
Need to act fast.
I won't give in. One day I'll catch a break.
bloody hope not. If he saves us, I'll never hear the end of it.
Something's on my mind.
Don't leave us here, damn it!
I'll get us out of here, Cal. Even if I need to kill every bastard.
Alright. My brain is not in a space right now where I can do puzzles.
Oh, lovely little peg we have.
Give everyone a short rest and save. We'll pick this up sometime tomorrow. Let's see who's available for a raid. Go raid Maisie.